Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for round 3 of the F1XL Formula One Championship. We're in season 21, round 3, and we are going to be doing a sprint race weekend around the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Canada, as you can see from the nice Canadian flag, and I'm sure we've got some Canadian people in the race. I'm fairly sure someone's in someone's Canadian in the race, and yeah, I'm sure we'll get some people watching as well. Hello to everyone who's saying hello in the chat. Powell and BTW, Uma. Is it Division 4? Yes, it is. It's Division 4 of F1XL. My name is Bofar. I'm going to be your commentator today, and we will eventually be joined by Gunhead, I believe. He is like working late, I think, so he is gonna jump on as soon as he gets in, and yeah, it sounds like Saucy Chris is Canadian. That's what I thought. Right, Saucy Chris is Canadian, so there we go. And the one week that I start earlier than we've got cars on the track, we've got a little bit of a break because we're waiting for someone to get in. So there we go. Hello everyone, welcome along to the stream. Lots of drivers who are going to be racing today are in, so hello, Bonta, Lethal Lins, yeah, good to see you here. Let's just go over the standings at the moment. Division 4. Currently, we have a joint lead in the standings after 2 races. We have Richy and Smith, each on 43 points. And in third, we've got DNG Titan. In fourth, joint fourth, Pat Peter and Asthma Frog. 6th is Ibontal on 14. Saucy Chris on 12. In 7th, Powell on 8. In 8th with 10 points. Stone Shuffle in 9th with 9. And Scrub in 10th place with 8 points. So things are a little bit tighter down the bottom, but the top 2 are kind of getting away, and we're actually going to have one shot quali. So for a sprint weekend, we're going to have one shot qualifying, and then we'll have a short sprint race, and then we will have a longer standard 50% race distance. And as you can see, it's raining. It's raining in Canada. Wall of Champions. How many people are going to bin this in the Wall of Champions? How many people are going to bin this? It's going to be fun. Harry Powell actually has a quali ban, so Powell's going to sit this one out. From last week, had a bit of a just a few incidents, I would say. Just a few. But it's all right. It made for entertaining watching, so I'm not complaining. I'm just like the observer who gets to watch all of this stuff going on. So yeah, it's going to be good. We're going to be waiting for players to go. So let's have a little look at the track. Track 13 corners in total. The first couple are going to be interesting. You could go off at that point. So as you're looking on the right hand side of the track, that's the start finish straight. Going to head down there. And then turn 1 and 2. Turn 1's like a 90-degree left-hander, and then you've got like a kind of hairpin, but it doesn't feel like a hairpin. It just feels like it never ends through Virage Senna. Then you got chicane of 3 and 4, and then you're down Pont de la Concorde all the way down through turn 5 into another kind of what's it, chicane. There we go, chicane. But on the exit of turn 7, you got to be careful. The wall is going to be like it comes to you because the camber of the road kind of brings you out. So there we go. Let's jump on board with somebody. So here we go. Hopefully we have some sound going on. We're on board with Brain Core at the moment, who is currently in the lead. And then as I say that, he shuffles all the way down to 6th. It's going to be difficult to concentrate and kind of do figure out what's going on with one-shot quali. So we'll just jump on board with various people. Let's have a look at Richy M. So we're coming through. Here we are. This is turn 7. The exit of this, and you got this nice straight down into turns 8 and 9. Really easy here to go off the track and into the wall and get some corner cutting penalties, and down then into their hairpin, which is literally just called the hairpin. It has a fancy French name. I don't speak French, so I won't be ruining that for you. And then this is Casino Straight, the longest straight on the track, and then you're heading down into the final chicane. Missed the Wall of Champions. Richy does that. He's currently in the lead at the moment. Let's have a look and see where they all get to. So Richy fastest, 1:18.9, and then that's all we got saw. We will see the standings very soon. So here we go. So Richy M takes pole position for the Canadian Grand Prix for the sprint race. Brain Core, fantastic effort from the Haas driver in 2nd. Ibonta will start on the 2nd row in 3rd. Asthma Frog in 4th. Lethal Lins in 5th. DNG Tyson in 6th. Scrub in 7th. Stone Shuffle in 8th. Pat Peter 9th. Jake Hake Jow 10th. Saucy Chris, the home man, starts off the disqualification list. Those people who didn't quite make the right lap. And Powell and Sander the Dad both didn't set a time. So we got Party Hard Smith, Beastie and Saucy Chris on the disqualified list. There we go. Right. It's going to be sprint. Everything is raining apparently. So yeah, there we go. And it's proper rain as well. This is like proper heavy wet rain. Is it going to be Inters or will it be the other one? What's the other one called? Wets. There we go. Inters or wets? Let's have a look. Right, so we're going to be starting this at just 21:14. Cool. So we've got a little gap until we do this. Yeah. So Smith is down the list. Can I see the race director? There. No. There we go. Right. So there's our order. Let's get that up on there. So title rivals are pretty far apart here. It's going to be full wet conditions, it looks like. Richy M on pole, currently joint lead of the championship with 43 points. Smith is in 13th, and this is going to be like, it could be a good track for passing. It could be a really bad track for passing because it's super narrow. It's actually a street circuit, this one. Really narrow. The walls are really close in. It doesn't feel like a street circuit, but it is. And so I feel like we're going to see a lot of corner cutting penalties. It's really easy to corner cut here. and get penalised for that. So expect a lot of that. And then we're also going to expect, might expect a few safety car periods and virtual safety car periods. Powell says this gonna be my sprint. Well, that's good. Like, that's good. I'm loving the confidence. I'm loving the confidence, Powell. Hopefully you have a good one. But starting down in 15th. This standard of dad's on Inters. It's going to be interesting. Let's keep an eye out for that. It definitely looks like full wet from where I am. How many laps are we doing, guys? I'm not quite sure on my lap distance for the sprint race. I think it's at 25%. So whatever 25% is of the full race distance. Is it like something like 12 laps or something? 12 or 13? We'll find out. For a sprint race, no need to 12 laps. Look at that. I guessed right. Thank you very much, Paul and Bonta. I guessed right. I got mad skills. Who needs gunhead? A dozen. Nice. Another way of saying 12. Good stuff. Got 2 minutes to start. What do we need a break for? Rain eases around 4 to 5 laps. Might stop around lap 8. So we've got a bit of weather from Bonta. Thank you for that. You're welcome. Thank you. Brilliant. So it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. But I've no one like Gunhead the Goat. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but I do agree that Gunhead is a cool guy. I've enjoyed calling the first 2 races with him, and hopefully he shows up soon so I can stop embarrassing myself by myself. There we go. Which presets have people gone for? Those who are in the lobby and are also in the chat. You're also a goat. Thank you. A goat, not that could be considered a insult, but I'll take it as a compliment. Ooh, someone else has put the intermediate tires on. Hello. Preset 3 for Powell. Yeah, so normally people would kind of go one of the higher presets, I would say, one of the faster ones, maybe 4 or 5. But because it's raining for most of the weekend, it looks like. Preset 3 seems to be a decent shout, but we'll have to see. Right, we are going to be starting pretty soon, so that's good. It means I don't have to talk for much longer. Well, I will be talking, but I'll be able to call on something because there's nothing happening at the moment. And I just realised my music's still on, so I'll just bring that down because now we're going to be starting. Have we got any game sound? That's because I'm paused. There we go. We've got some game sound. Bring that music down. Right. We're doing sprint race. Okay, so only one person's gone for intermediate tires for now. Let's do a track map so we can see everything. There we go. So I believe it's the first. It's points for the first 8. I'm sure someone will tell me if I'm wrong. Points for the first 8 people, and it's just like, so whoever finishes first gets 8, and then 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 for 8th, and then that's it, I believe. But I'm sure someone will tell me I'm wrong. Sander the Dad is the only one who's starting on intermediates right at the back. We shall see if that works. It might work, it might not work, but we'll have to see. And yeah, Brain Core, good qualifying time, getting up to 2nd. So that could be a good a good thing to watch out for. Ibonto in third alongside, having the two teammates together. Haas teammates is good, although Asthma Frog seems to have gotten ahead on the on that lap. But here we go. We're just going to be waiting for everyone to line up on the grid, and then we will get this sprint underway. Let's get rid of the tyre now. Right, okay. We are going to be racing pretty soon. We've got 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. Oh, we've got a couple of jump starts. The lights were held for a long time. We've got D&G Titan with Lethal Lins also getting jump starts. So Richie keeping it up into first. Titan with that jump shot is all the way up into all the way up into second. Then Bray and Core manages to fight back on the inside, and D&G Titan's falling back down again. Lethal Lins up to fifth, past Ibonto, but both of these guys are gonna have drive-through penalties. That's what those penalty boxes are for there. Scrub having a look around the outside of Ibonto has had a bad start, and looks like round the outside and then up the inside of the next one, and they'll be side by side down this back straight. Scrub's going to have the inside line. Ibonto manages to get back ahead though, maybe using a little bit of energy. So Ibonto manages to keep that position as we see Powell go up past Saucy Chris, or is it Saucy Chris up past? And Smith is making a move now. Started 13th, is up to 10th. Well, it was a little bit close there with Stone Shuffle, but Stone managed to not to hit the back of the Williams of Smith. So Smith making good progress on this opening lap, and looking to make another move on Powell as we see Saucy Chris get past Scrub. And there we go, Lethal Lins and D&G Titan into the pits to serve their drive-through penalties for those jump starts. Powell and Smith going pretty close there, and Smith now up to 7th place. So fantastic start from Smith. Started 13th, managed to make his way up to 7th. So a good sprint so far for Smith in the Williams. So leading the race is Richie. Did pull away a little bit, but Brain Core in that Haas has managed to reel him in a little bit. Is within half a second now. There's not going to be any DRS because it is sopping wet out there. They got the full wet tires on. And I wonder how Sander the Dad is doing, actually, because Sander the Dad was on Inters. Let's see how he's doing. He's falling back behind Stone Shuffle, and I think he looks like he is struggling a little bit. So is he going to try and hang it out? Is he going to look after those tires enough so that you don't have to come into the pits? It's going to be interesting. Let's see if he can do that, as we see just seen Smith up the order there, go get past Scrub. We missed that one on track. Aspen Frog with the fastest lap of the race, 123.9. Will Smith be able to take that one? No, it doesn't. So Smith and Saucy Chris, the two Williams now, 5th and 6th. Ibonto is in 4th. Asthma Frog is now right on the back of Brain Core and Richie M at the front. And Powell's just made his way past Scrub. Oh, look, side by side through that turn there. And Powell manages to get that move done. But that was a bit risky there. And as you can see, this track is pretty narrow. And there's a bit of a train now behind Powell. So will Powell be able to move away and make the gap a little bit larger? Looks like Pat P there is ghosted at the moment, so I'm not quite sure if he's lost connection or something. Looks like he's back on track now. That's okay. Lethal Lins and D&G Titan both had those penalties, and Sander the Dad now on those intermediate tyres is right at the back of the field and losing pace. So let's keep an eye out and see if he comes in or if he manages to if the tyres come back to him, because we did know earlier on saying Rainey's is around 4 to 5 laps in, so that's about halfway through, and Smith sets the fastest lap of the race right on the back of his teammate. Now, will there be some team orders in the Williams garage, or will they let them race? Beastie's now into the pits. Let's see what Beastie's doing. Is he coming in? He's coming for intermediate tyres. This is interesting. Sander the Dad's not had a great time on those inters, and Beastie's gone, I'll take a gamble and I'll do that. And there's a bit of a gap now that's opened up between Richie and Brian Core for the lead. So Richie is 1.6 seconds ahead of the Haas of Brian Core now, and Asper Frog is right on the back. So we've already got some tyre changes happening, and we'll have to see. Is the rain easy enough? I'm not sure. Is the rain easy enough? I can't really tell from here. These guys will know better. It looks like there is a drier line forming, but that could just be the game, as Asthma Frog, looking to make a move down into the final chicane, thinks better of it, but gets a really good exit. A little bit of a bump draft there on Asper on the back of Brain Core, and they go side by side into turn one. Asthma Frog on the outside manages to get around the outside. Fantastic move there from Asthma Frog, gets his way up into second place. Is Brain Core trying to come back around the outside? No, he can't. So that is that move done for Asthma Frog. But now the gap to Richie at the front is 2 whole seconds. So Richie is really making headway now. But Asthma Frog looks like on that map there has set the fastest first sector. So Asthma Frog's got some pace in the wet. Very nice. So I hope, and look, yes, already 2 tenths taken out of the lead of Richie. So Asthma Frog definitely has some pace. So we'll keep an eye on the Aston Martin driver. Last 2 races, we've only had one Aston Martin on the track. This time we have both of them, Asthma Frog and Stone Shuffler, who we are watching now, who is on the back of Scrub. This is the closest battle that's on the track at the moment, apart from Lethal Lins and Titan. Oh, getting pretty close to each other there. Lethal Lins had a much tighter corner, as we see Richie M makes the fastest lap of the race so far and has pulled out that gap now. So it looks like Richie put the foot down and gone, oh, I don't want Asthma catching me, and has put that foot down and stretched out that gap. So Richie looking pretty good out front now, with a 2.5 second lead. Let's have a look. Where's the closest battle? Here we go. Battle for 8th. We've got Scrub, Stone Shuffle and Party Hard, all within fairly close of each other on track. So we look at DNG Titan now right on the back of Pat Peda. Pat's teammate in the lead at the moment, Richie, 2.7 seconds is the lead over Asthma Frog. But Pat Peda is now under pressure from the Williams of DNG Titan, who had a bit of a shocker at the start and got a drive-through penalty awarded. Has taken that now and is looking to get back up through the field, and these guys pretty close to each other now. Looks to be the closest battle on track at the moment. Oh, and Pat Peda, just the rear end just letting go, and that has allowed DNG Titan and Lethal Lins to make their way past. So Pat Peda, a bad time there. Hopefully get back up and running again, and on the way. Sander the Dad and Beastie are both on the intermediate tyres and are not catching up yet, so it doesn't look like the crossover is now, but as soon as they start catching up to the guys ahead, that will signal to everyone that the track is ready for intermediate tyres, as we see Lethal Lins pick up 3-second time penalty, and crucially joint championship leader Smith also has a time penalty. Tom in the chat says, Dave, hello Tom, thanks for joining us. We are currently just over halfway through the sprint race of the Canadian Grand Prix. Richie started on pole, has led away, has brought out a big gap there, 3.8 seconds ahead of Asthma Frog, who made a fantastic overtake on Braincore, and Braincore comes into the pits. So Braincore in the Haas into the pits. Ibontal carries round his teammate. Smith carries round Saucy Chris, who is Canadian and is looking for a good time at his home Grand Prix. And the intermediate tyres come on for Braincore. So Braincore out of the pits now. Onto the intermediate tyres. Is it crossover time? Oh, I don't know. Let's have a look. It still looks pretty wet, but there definitely isn't a lot of rain. The rain has definitely eased up visibly, so maybe it is going to be crossover time soon. The two Williams drivers really close to each other. Smith did make his way past Saucy Chris. They were the other way around before. Will Saucy Chris try and make his way around? I don't know. Powell, a 3-second time penalty for Powell. That's not the best. Never good, but there we go. So will Richie come into the pits? No, he doesn't. He carries round. Asthma Frog does not come into the pits. Ibontal comes into the pits. So Ibontal into the pits. Smith is up to third. And Chris goes up. Powell goes past. So just Ibontal coming into the pits at the moment, falling down. Braincore is currently in 11th. Let's have a look. Let's join in. There we go. His teammate goes past. DNG Titan. It's going to be tight with DNG Titan and Lethal Lins. Will he be able to make his way ahead of Titan? Or it's going to be close. Will he be able to keep that? Because those tyres are going to be cold. It looks like he's okay. As you see, Sander the Dad gets some time penalties added on. Sander the Dad, of course, started on the intermediate tyres. It was definitely too wet for intermediate tyres, and that has seemed to have hindered the McLaren's progress through this race. But let's have a look at Stone Shuffle, who is currently on the back of Scrub. Looks like a little bit of a slide there from the rears of the Mercedes car, struggling to put the power down and keep it in a straight line. There's a little bit of a slide. Let's see if either of these drivers come into the pits. No, they carry on. It doesn't look like anyone's coming to the pits this time around. Lap 10 of 12. Oh, Braincore, that's a 3-second time penalty added for Bray and Core, even with the fastest lap of the race. It looks like Pat Peder has come into the pit, but we are only 3 laps from the end of this sprint race. So is it just worth hanging out, just trying to keep these tires around and alive enough to finish the race? Richie M now is nearly 5.5. He's now 5.5 seconds ahead of Asthma Frog. He's in second, and Smith started 13th, is currently in third. That's a fantastic recovery from a disqualification in qualifying, in one-shot qualifying. So that is a fantastic turnaround for the Williams driver, and I think he'll be very, very pleased with that outcome if he manages to stay there. Let's have a look. Hake Zhao is closing in on the back of Ibontal. Hake Zhao is on used wet tires. Ibontal is on relatively new intermediate tires. And Brain Core now is setting the fastest lap, is regularly setting fastest laps of the race. So it definitely is intermediate conditions. But are they able to hammer home that advantage in enough time? I'm not sure. I'm not sure it's going to be enough time to get that sorted and make their way back up from the places that they were. So was that potentially the wrong move strategically? We'll have to see. We'll have to see how it pans out. We've only got 2 laps left of this race, and we're going to be closing in on the last lap because Richie M is just coming down the back straight into the final hairpins, not hairpin, chicane. So we'll have to make sure he doesn't crash through the wall of champions or anything like that. But started his final lap now, Richie M, of this sprint race, and that'll be a nice total of points to grab from the sprint. But we'll stay on board with these guys. It seems to be the closest battle on. There we go. Here's Brain Core. So Brain Core and Ibontal both making moves past the Alpine of Party Hard, and they both get past, do they? Ibontal still side by side, manages to get in front. So the intermediates have definitely got some pace now, but is it too little too late? Not sure. Let's see. 3.5 seconds to Stone Shuffle. I think that's probably going to be it unless Stone Shuffle makes an awful mistake. Hopefully not. But we'll see what happens as Richie M on the final lap of this sprint race comes round the final hairpin 7.2 seconds ahead of Asthma Frog, who's in second, and Richie M, all being well through the final chicane on this track, is going to take the win in this sprint. Safely does it, no need to push, and there we go. Richie M towards the line, takes the checkered flag, wins the sprint race, and will start on pole position for the main race. Asthma Frog, fantastic drive there, and another amazing drive from Smith. Started 13th, finished 3rd. I think you definitely would have taken that at the start of this race if you'd have told him where he was going to start and where he's going to finish. So fantastic result there for him. DNG Titan leads home Lethal Lins. Beastie crosses the line. Sander the Dad finishes 15th, and then just waiting around for the last racer, Pat Peter, to finish the race. Kind of forgot. Mistake there from us. Kind of forgot it was a sprint. We forgot it was a sprint. I mean, I did say it a few times. There we go. You guys have definitely got some pace though, so yeah, I wouldn't worry about it too much. There we go. So Richie takes a full 8 points for that sprint win. Asthma Frog finished second and gets 7 points, and Smith finishes third with 6. Then we got Saucy Chris. A great result there for the home driver, with 5 points from 4th, and we got 4 points from 5th for Scrub. Powell picks up 3, Stone Shuffle picks up 2, and Ibontal picks up 1. And we're going to be doing a full 50% race now. I'm not quite sure on the lap total. I'm sure someone will let me know in the chat. But yeah, there was some good moments in that race. Really enjoyed Asthma Frog's overtake on who was third. It was one of the passes, wasn't it? Was it Brain Core? Yes, it was. Yeah, that was a fantastic overtake through around the outside of turn one. Very good. That was a good moment. And a fantastic drive from Smith as well to recover that many places lost from qualifying. We are going to be starting at 21:38 UK time. And apparently, even though it's still raining, it's going to be intermediate conditions. I can see stacks of intermediate tyres in the garage there. So hopefully, we might get a dry out. Hopefully, we get a dry out. Oh no, full into race. I just said. So it's going to be intermediates all the way around. So we are going to need to look after those tyres. You only have a limited amount of intermediate tyres, and they will have used some of them. You will have used some for the sprint race. So those who stayed out on hards are gonna have a little bit more. That's a fantastic message. Lethal Lins. My missus is banned from being in the same room as me on race nights. She shouted something at me, put me off, made me jump, which made me false start. Oh dear. Well, there we go. That's what happens when you play in a communal or a communal space. There we are. I'm sure you've got enough pace to make your way through the field. We've seen some passes earlier on in the race. We know it's doable with Smith making good headway through the field. So I look forward to seeing your progress. Right, predicted stop strategy. It flashed up on the screen just very, very quickly there. Either a one stop or a two stop on intermediates. I don't think anyone's going to be doing a two stop unless they come in for a front wing or unless there's a safety car, which there could be. It's a narrow track. We've already seen some pretty close racing. It's very feasible that we could have an incident. And it's wet as well. Those curbs are wet, and to maximize your time around this circuit, you need to be able to ride those curbs effectively. And the more you put yourself on those curbs in the wet, the higher the risk of something going awry. So there we go. Time to become Max Verstappen, go defending. All right. There's Powell. Starting from 6th. Would be good. As, oh dear. Thought he was just about to spin off then, was Richie, but no, he's just warming up the tyres. Trying to get as much temperature into those intermediate tyres as possible. Gunhead's still not here. I'm not sure Gunhead's coming. I'll be very sad if Gunhead doesn't arrive. Mainly because, like, I like doing the races with Gunhead, so there we go. Ooh, and a bit of an angle there in the pit box from Richie, looking to cover off a move potentially from Asper Frog into turn 1. So that's a bit of an angle there. Let's have a look. Yeah, just a little bit. Right, so 50% race after the sprint. We are going to be racing very shortly in Canada. 5 lights are on and we are away, and definitely no jump starts this time around. And Asper Frog makes a fantastic start off the line and manages to, I don't know if Richie was like distracted or sleeping or something like that, but a really delayed start from Richie, and he is down to second and right into the clutches of his championship rival. In third is Smith. So Smith and Saucy Chris. Oh, Powell looking to make a move up the inside of Saucy Chris. That was nice and opportunistic there, but it's going to be on the outside. It's going to be less traction around there. They're still side by side going down the back straight, and Saucy Chris manages to fend off the Alfa Romeo of Powell, but a decent chance there for Powell to make a move. Will he make a lunge down into the hairpin? No, thinks better of it. Lap one, things can run hot, especially when you've tried to overtake someone. Looks like Smith's looking pretty racy on the back of Richie, tucked right up behind, pulls out now into into the inside and gets that move done before the chicane. So Smith up past Richie now, as Asthma Frog sets the fastest lap of the race, streaking away at the front. Saucy Chris and Powell having another battle there, and I'm not sure if something's wrong with Richie's car, but Richie's really struggling in this weather, because Smith has pulled away and Saucy Chris is now right on the back of him. So is Powell, pretty tight at the front here. Ibonto is in sixth and is has fallen about a second away from Powell, who's in fifth. Sander the Dad's made up loads of places up to seventh place. So we've not seen Sander the Dad's progress, but Sander definitely making some progress up to seventh. That's a fantastic effort from him. Scrub is in eighth, and right on the back of him is Brian Core, who we know has some pace around here because he finished the one-shot qualified in second, and was up near the start before he came in for a pit because both of the Haas's forgot they were doing a sprint. So let's see what happens between them. And looks like there's been a change of position between Beastie and Party Hard, the two Alpines switching positions. There's Smith sets the fastest lap of the race, trying to hunt down Asthma Frog, who made a fantastic start and caught Richie napping. There we go. A little bit of a break. Now all the action has subsided just a little bit. And it looks like Ibonto's managed to catch up to the back of Powell. Looks to be one of the closest battles on track at the moment. Has something happened to Stone Shuffle? Yes, something's happened to Stone Shuffle. He shuffled down the order there, and there's no front wing on that Aston Martin. So something's happened there. Has he gone into the wall or hit somebody? Not quite sure, but no front wing on that, and that's going to handle like a truck until he gets that back into the pits. Lethal Lynn's looking to make a move. The inside of Hake Zhao. Oh, nearly touching on the exit there. Hake Zhao managing to get the better exit because he was on the outside of the corner. Managed to straighten up earlier and make his way back past Lethal Lynn's. Will Lethal have a look into the chicane? No, he doesn't. We might have a little look at the leads because Smith has reeled in Asthma Frog, who was about 1.5 seconds ahead, but has now lost a second of that lead, and Smith is right on the back and looking pretty racy indeed. Beasties very close on the back of Scrub at the moment. These guys pretty close to each other. Lethal Lynn's has managed to make his way past Hake Zhao, so maybe did that into turn one, not quite sure. Stone Shuffle coming out of the pits as a new front wing, new set of boots, and we'll be looking to try and catch up and maybe praying for some sort of safety car. Probably not yeah, full safety car, I think, to catch back up to the main pack. And it looks like Smith now really, really close on the back, pulling out to make a move down the back straight on the inside for the chicane, and manages to get through. There wasn't a lot of space there. Oh, and Richie having a bit of a moment coming out of the final turn, but manages to keep it on the road. But Smith has worked his way back up to the front of this pack and has taken over the lead from Asthma Frog. And Richie, even though he outscored Smith in the sprint race, the gap between the points that you get for the main race and third might be enough to offset that. So Smith in pole position there at the moment to extend or move into the lead of the championship on points. He's not dropping Asthma Frog yet. Asthma Frog is still there and thereabouts. Lethal Lynn's 3-second time penalty, so the first time penalty of this race going to Lethal Lynn's. Asthma Frog now has fallen back a little bit, 0.7 behind, and there's not going to be any DRS. You see, Ibontal looking for maybe a slipstream move down there, pretty close to the back of Powell, and I'm not sure if there was contact there, but Ibontal had to make some moves to, well, make a move to really stop that car, because it looked like they were going to touch through the final chicane, and he's lost about a second. So being right on the back of Powell, very, very close, has now lost a second, and will want to try and close that gap up as soon as he can. Pat Peter making a move on Hake Chow. Very good. Oh, Hake Chow's made a bit of a spin there. So a bit of a spin for that AlphaTauri has let Pat Peter through. Where's our closest battles? Sander the Dad. Here we go. Let's have a look at how many places he's brought. 8 places Sander the Dad has made up from the start. Had a bit of a tough time in the sprint race, opting to go on the intermediate tyres in full wet conditions, hoping that the conditions would dry up enough and that he wouldn't have to make a stop. But it turned out that wasn't the right strategy for that, but making good progress through the field. 8 places gained for the McLaren driver, so that is very good indeed, as Lethal Lynn's makes his way past Party Hard. And will Pat Peter have a go down the inside? All thought about it, but managed to tuck back in before any harm was done to the car in front. The whole field now is kind of spread out a little bit. It's pretty hard to follow closely a car in front around this track because of just how narrow it is, how tight it is, and how the corners are kind of profiled. It's difficult to stay right on the back of someone unless you've got a lot more pace than them, which is why we're seeing a lot of the field separated by 1.3, 1.4, 1.5 seconds, because it's just very, very hard to follow around here, especially through some of the chicanes, unless you are substantially faster. And it looks like Richie is one of the closest battles, with Asthma Frog on track at the moment. Also Lethal Lynn's, we'll try and keep an eye on that one as well. But he's not quite close enough into turn 1 to make a move on Asthma Frog and try and catch back up to his championship rival Smith, who has opened up 2.1 second gap, now 2.3 seconds over these two guys in second and third. Look. So we're on lap 8 of 35 in this sprint race. Not sprint race, this main race around the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Canada. Currently, our joint championship leader, Smith, is in first place, started third after starting 13th in the one-shot qualifying for the sprint race. So had a fantastic sprint race, made his way up to third, and then has made his way to the lead and has just set the fastest lap of the race, 1:20.030. So Smith is definitely putting his foot down now and looking to extend that gap further. Asthma Frog had a fantastic start from second alongside Richie, who was on pole. But Richie was caught napping at the start, and Asthma Frog managed to get down to turn 1 in before the Red Bull racer. But now the Red Bull racer is pretty hot on the heels of Asthma Frog, and we'll be looking to make a move fairly soon. We will see if he looks to make a move down into the hairpin here. Not quite close enough this time around, but is looking to straighten up the car and get a good exit. Had a little bit of a wobble there on traction, and is he gonna have enough in the tank to make his way past? Asper Frog goes defensive down the track, but then relinquishes the middle of the track, comes back over, takes his racing line, and manages to stay ahead still. And oh no, Ibonto is retired. What's happened to Ibonto? Looks like he's in the wall there, and that is going to be a safety car. Surely that's going to be a safety car. He's right in the middle of the road. That is a bad incident there. Let's see if we can see. Yeah, he's just in there, and it looks like someone has come into the pits. Who's come into the pits? DNG Titan, seeing that incident, going, let's jump straight into the pits. And will he be able to get a jump on the rest of the field? Hoping that there's going to be a safety car, but nothing has been called yet. No safety car has been called yet. And actually, we've gone. Ibonto's car is gone, so there's not going to be a safety car for that. I could have sworn there was going to be a safety car for that, but no. No safety car, and we are carrying on. So maybe the DNG Titan jumped just a little bit too quickly into the pits. But I wouldn't blame him for that. I could have sworn there was going to be one. Oh, making a move around the outside. It's going to be tight there. Thinks better of it. You really, really want the inside line or to try and get that move mostly done by the time you get to those corners, because it is pretty narrow, and has already lost a second to Asthma Frog. But the more these guys fight on track, the more it's going to give Smith the opportunity to break away. And something happened to Powell, or is he in the... No, something's happened to Powell. Let's have a look. Is he in the pits? Is he retired in the pits? What's happened to Powell? We're not sure. He's not showing up on the pit wall. So we've lost Powell from this race. Not sure. He's in chat. I'm sure he'll let us know what happened. He says, I'm so sorry. But we're not sure. Not quite sure what's happened there. So Powell is out of this race. And we'll look to see if he lets us know what happened to him in the chat. Okay. Where are we at? So Richie's still close back, but has not managed to gain all that much to the back of Asthma Frog. It looks like DNG Titan's just retired as well, potentially retiring in the pits. It looks like it, because there's a McLaren in the pits. So DNG Titan retiring from the race. So now that leaves 13 of 16 racers still going around. And as far as I've seen, we've only seen one crash And we only have 12 total seconds of penalties. So pretty good for lap 12 of 35. Am I solo today? It looks like I am solo today. We don't have Gunhead as of yet. He did say last week that he was going to try and get in, but he was working late. So there we go. So it looks like D&G Titan said his wheel stopped working. So a bit of a hardware issue there for Titan. As Richie now is really, really close on the back of Asthma Frog. Will he be able to make a move into the chicane? Asthma Frog going very defensive, covering off that inside line, and manages to keep ahead. So a defensive masterclass of driving. He's going to have to do it again now into turn one. And Richie, definitely wanting that inside line, manages to squeeze it through and makes the move stick into turn one. So Richie now has managed to get past Asper Frog after some fantastic defensive driving down the back straight, thinking, actually, I need to do it in a different part of the track, and he does it. So Richie up to second now and is now 5.3 seconds behind Smith. So does Richie have enough in the tank to be able to catch up to his championship rival? We will keep an eye on that, as Asper Frog's got 3 seconds of time penalties now, so trying to push to stay on the back of Richie has caused him to just track extend just a little bit too much. So Asper Frog will want to just calm down, let the adrenaline kind of go, and settle back into a routine and into a rhythm to try and keep going fast, because there's a real chance of a podium there for the Aston Martin drivers. Smith sets the fastest lap of the race for the Williams driver, purple in all sectors, and potentially that was seeing his championship rival come up into second place, and maybe he's like, right, let's get cracking and go. So there we go. Asper Frog, though, is still pretty close and has managed to catch back up to Richie. So Asper Frog is not willing to let second place go without another fight, and he's really, really close on the back of the Red Bull now. Will he make a move down into this little chicane under the bridge? No, he doesn't. He sticks behind for now, maybe looking to go. Oh, another 3 seconds added there, so that's 6 seconds of penalties now for Asthma Frog, and that puts him at risk of losing the place to Saucy Chris, who has 3 seconds of his own, but will gain 3 seconds, and he's only 3.5 seconds behind Asthma Frog. No, so Asthma Frog needs to be very, very careful indeed for the rest of this race, and potentially just backing off just a little bit there because he's lost a little bit of time. But Smith is still pulling away now. 6.8 seconds the gap now, 6.9 from Richie. And still no pit stops yet. Oh, and as I say that, Saucy Chris has come into the pits. So Saucy Chris is the first to blink for new tyres at lap 15 of 35, and that has promoted Sander the Dad up into 4th place. Fantastic recovery drive from the McLaren. And Powell, I think we have some information in the chat. Hit the lip of the wall, making me go right and hit into you, Bonte. So it looks like that issue that we saw Bonte in the wall, there's been a little bit of a coming together with Powell on the straight, and that has caused Bonte to retire from the race. So that's what happened when we saw Bonte into the wall earlier on. I could have sworn there was going to be a safety car for that, but no safety car. This game not deeming it fit enough nor dangerous enough for a safety car and go. Where are we at? So Pat Peter and Party Hard now pretty close on the back of Scrub. This is the battle for the last points places at the moment, as we see Asthma Frog just coming out of the pits, and he manages to make his way up into 6th. So it looks like Saucy Chris is not far off the back of him now. So that undercut has worked wonders for Saucy Chris. So could this potentially be a move for Asthma Frog to try and get back past Richie with the undercut? Because we've seen Saucy Chris came in, was it one or two laps, and has managed to close in 3 seconds. Bonta, do you want me to join you? Yeah, come on in. Feel free to come on in, Bonta. I'll have to sort out my sound, but yes, come on in and join me if you want to. You can let us know what happened to you. So Smith carrying round. Richie sets the fastest lap of the race, 1:19.5. And Sander the Dad is further 12.5 seconds back. Oh, Lethal Lins comes into the pit, picks up 5 seconds for speeding in the pit lane. What goes on to his tyres? They're intermediate tyres going on to that Ferrari. And here we go. We're starting to see action thick and fast. Am I in the Xbox part? No, I'm in Discord. I'm in the streamers one in Discord in the voice channels. So feel free just to jump in. But you can do that from Xbox if you want, I think. Right, so here we go. Oh, Bunter's in. Let's unmute that channel. So hopefully we'll be able to hear you soon.
Hello.
Hello. So Smith and Richie have come into the pits. Brain Core has made his way up to 2nd because of that. Oh, he's going to be tight with Richie on the exit of that, and Richie with the new tyres manages to put the power down and get his way past Brain Core, so manages to keep that place. And there we go. That's the action sorted. How are you doing, Bonta?
I mean, I'd much rather still be racing.
I understand. What happened from your point of view?
It's just one of those things. I was coming up behind power. I got a good exit out of the hairpin. Had a run. He was just a bit too far to the left, and he's just hit. You know where the wall just sticks out a little bit.
Oh yeah.
He's hit into that just as I've started to get alongside, so my car's then been thrown straight into a wall.
Oof.
I think I'm going to agree with what Nahegami said. I'm probably the most unluckiest guy in F1XL at the
minute. We've all had incidents like that, especially around this track, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. There'll be plenty of opportunity later in the season to get some good results. So don't lose heart just yet. It's a long season.
Lots of pit stops I see happening now.
Yeah. Lots of people coming in and staying out. Brain Cores come in. Lethal Lins is making his way back past. So it's going to be pretty tight with Beastie. But Brain Core managing to get ahead of these guys, or stay ahead of Beastie and Lethal Lins. That's going to be crucial for his race. Hopefully we'll be able to close the gap to Sander the Dad. Who's made a stop?
everyone apart from Stone Shuffle. No, Stone Shuffle's made an early pit stop because he had damage.
Yes.
Smith is running away with this race, isn't he?
Smith is looking like one of the men to beat in this season. 9.8 seconds the lead to Richie. Made a fantastic recovery drive from qualifying 13th for the start of the sprint race. Is it looking like just a two-way battle for the lead, or is there anyone else in the field that you think has a chance of sticking it up in there and making a three-way title fight?
I mean, there's definitely. I mean, I don't want to turn my own horn, so I'm not going to say me because how my luck's going, I might be fighting for last. Sanders got pace. Bray's got pace. Titan is probably the fastest guy in the league with Sander if they can keep it clean and keep it in a straight line. Stone Shuffle can compete up the top. I think at the minute Smith and Richie they're just too consistent. I think that's what's making it such a difference. Is what they came first and seconds in both the races so far. They're first and second again. It's just them two just being too consistent compared to everyone else, because I believe it was Titan who was in third in the championship before this race. And I think his best finish, he'd had like a podium in like an 8th place. So I think it's just that. It's just their consistency. It's just pulling them away from the field.
Yeah. Oh, I just watched. I was just on the board with the battle between Scrub and Pat Peter, and Pat Peter's just lost it under traction of the hairpin and has gone careering into the wall. Looks like he's got some front wing damage. I'm sure he had some front wing damage. I'm sure it like came off. Oh yeah, there's a little bit missing there, but it continuing on for now. But yeah, definitely not the best for him. Yeah. So, what about Saucy Chris? I mean, me and Gunhead are not quite sure if it's actually pronounced Saucy or not. But fourth in his home race currently at the moment has shown some decent pace as well, and has managed to kind of keep it relatively clean and get some good results. Do you not think Chris has a chance of?
I think he has a chance of maybe getting a couple of victories or a victory, a couple of podiums, but I think with the fact his teammate is Smith, I think, as you said, Smith could be the one to beat. I don't see him being able to compete with his own teammate. I mean, he's now just like 15 seconds behind, 13.7 behind his teammate. I don't think he's got good driver, good racing. You're going to get what you get with Saucy Chris. I'm going to call him Saucy Chris as well. But compared to Smith, Richie, even Sand on his good days and Titan, I don't think he can really compete in the top echelon of the racing consistently enough to fight for the title.
Fair enough. Right. Okay. This race is not quite as action-packed as it has been for the last couple of weeks. We've got lots of people spread out. Still, Smith is in the lead by 9.7 seconds over Richie, and that gap doesn't seem to be getting any smaller. The closest battle on track is about of a sixth. Braincore currently there, but Beastie was within the second. I've raced with Beastie. I think I was in Division 4 last year. I think Division 4 is a bit of a mixture between people who were in Division 4 and Division 5 last year. Is that a
We've
fair
got quite a
assessment?
few mixes. I was Division 6 last season, along with a few of the other guys. Rocket Gamer and was I know he's not here this week, but he was the F7 champion with Ashmore. No, F7 or F8? F7, Ashmore Fog and Rocket Gamer was first and second in that championship. I believe Hake Jow, Party Hard and Beastie were F5 or Div 5 last season.
I think,
but most of the core of this is the same as Div 6 last season.
Right. Yeah.
So you had Richie, Sander, Bray, Lethal Lynn, Stone Shuffle, Scrub, Titan, myself, Panda, and I don't know who else is missing for this week, but most of the group is from the Div 6 from last season.
Right. So most people familiar enough with each other?
Yeah. I mean, there's only, I think, Hal, Hate Jow, Pet, Peter, and Smith, I think, are the only guys I haven't personally raced myself before the season started. Stone Shuffle's going a long way on this side. 20 laps now.
Is a long stint for Stone Shuffle. Currently in 9th and 5.7 seconds away from Lethal Lins, but Lethal Lins has 14 seconds of penalties. That's a lot of penalties.
Yeah, he's still struggling with pit entries.
Yes.
And I think he got a 5-second grid penalty for going into the pits. He's not quite got down into the pits yet.
Yeah, I think it was the first race is it Portugal that he also picked up a speeding in the pit lane penalty there as well, I think, if I remember rightly. Yes, and that'll put him down with 14 seconds. That's 9. That might put him down into 10th at the moment.
He's definitely going to be on the verge of not getting any points, unfortunately.
Yeah. So he'll be looking at the gap to Scrub, who's in 11th. Quite a lot, I think. But he might not be able to see it on his timing sheets because it only gives you 2 down, doesn't it? And Scrub's 3 down. So it's going to be.
Peter has pitted for mediums.
Oh, hello.
I was about to say, it seems like it's gotten a lot drier, and the rain.
Ooh.
It's not quite mediums.
It's not quite mediums, is it? Pat Peters gone straight into the wall, trying to put down the power, and yeah, that's a gamble that's not quite paid off, I would say. And
it might have been he was testing out the tyres for his teammate Richie who's in second.
Maybe
he comes out and goes, "Oh, there's a bit of grip on the wire tyres." All of a sudden, Richie pits for softs and he's flying. I think it need a miracle there to gain the 10.6 seconds he's now behind.
So the closest battle on track is Beastie and Brain Core. So we'll just jump on board with these guys as Smith is now 11 seconds ahead of Richie. We're on lap 26 of 35, so we've still got nine laps still to go as Smith sets the fastest lap. So just pushing on 18.2. That is rapid.
Richie did a 19.1.
Gosh, that's 9.
Everyone else is in 19.5s so far. Ashman and Saucy Chris both did a 19.6 and a 19.5. Sander, the dad looks like he's going to be in their 20s. Yeah, Sander did 20. Smith was 2 seconds faster than Sander and dad on that lap.
Wow.
Alone. I mean, that's incredible pace. All's tape gel's gone off on there. Okay, so Pep Peters. I was going to say, Pep Peter got rid of the mediums and put on softs, but he's now retired in the pit.
Yeah, that's fair enough. A long way off the back. And if the game isn't going to give your incident safety car, then it's not going to give.
Yeah, very strange that didn't happen.
Yeah. We're not running like lower chance of safety car.
No, it's the same as it. It's reduced standard or whatever it is.
Right. Fair enough. So we had. Was it 2 in Portugal? Was it 2? It was 2 last week.
It was last week in America. Yeah, we
have 1 in Portugal. Yeah, we had 1 in Portugal and a VSC as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this could, of all tracks, this could be the one race that we don't get any safety cars on, because the Canadian stewards seem to be more stingy.
Yeah, I mean, I underfueled my car quite drastically. I believe I was a lap under.
You're a lap under?
I was a lap under on fuel. Obviously, in the wet, you're not full throttle through most of the corners. So you gain the fuel back. You're automatically lifting and coasting. And I was expecting a safety car or a VSC at some point.
What headway were you making? At what point in the race did you start going, I need to start saving more fuel? Or did you not get to that point?
I started after 8 laps. So
after 8 laps. How many laps did you underfuel by?
Just 1.
Okay.
I was on when I checked on lap 4, I'd gained about. What happened to Beastie?
Beastie had a bit of a moment under trying to put the power down out of the hairpin and lost the rear end and managed to save it before it went in the wall though. So Beastie losing a place to Lethal Lins, but Lethal Lins has 14 seconds of penalties, so maybe not so bad at the end. Still managed to get that.
There were 2 people with fuel light warnings. Or 3, sorry.
Who's got fuel?
Carty Hard, Stone Shuffle, and Sander have the red light on the fuel.
Ooh.
Whether that means they're actually going to run out or not, I don't know. Oh, who's that? Oh, it's just Joe getting out of the way. Okay. I was watching Richie going into the hairpin, and there's a car ahead of him which was going super wide. I was like, oh my god, has Smith gone off? No, it's Joe getting lapped.
Yeah, looks like he's getting lapped by the leaders now, Richie and Smith Frog.
He decided to take the punt and put on softs himself. Don't think it's going to work though.
Who's gone into the who?
Joe's on soft tyres.
Is he?
Yes, he pitted last lap. It's not working.
Not at the moment, no. We are on lap 30 of 35. Smith is our race leader, the joint championship leader, with Richie, who is in second, but is a whole 13.5 seconds behind his championship rival at the moment. Asthma Frog is third, but has 9 seconds of time penalties, and currently that is enough to drop him past Saucy Chris, who is in fourth, who only has 3 and is 6 seconds behind.
It's going to be very close for that P3. It's about 6.1, 6.2. Chris really needs to start just trying to creep up.
Yeah, so there is a potential there for Saucy Chris to jump on that podium, but you'll need to keep it clean and fast. And that'll be difficult because I think Saucy Chris was one of the first people to come in for new tyres when we did our round of pit stops, if I remember rightly. So
He
let's...
was one of the first, but Ashford pitted the lap after, so it's not
Oh,
that
yes.
much of a difference. Yellow flag, cards? No. Oh, it's HJ.
Stone Shuffle 26 laps, now 27 laps on those intermediate tyres. He's making them last, and I bet they are screaming at the end of this. What's the kind of lifespan of an intermediate tyre around here?
I don't know. We was a bit worried about our tyres because of obviously we did quali and a few laps in the sprint, and we didn't realise if we was going to have any. I said last in Higgins, I don't know. It was saying 2 stop was the most realistic option. So the fact he's managed to go 27 laps, and he has started to lose quite a lot of time now to Party Hard behind. So
Yes, Party Hard.
I think there could be a chance of Stone Shuffle's tyres saying bye-bye soon.
Ooh, going for a late lunge. Stone Shuffle giving him plenty of room. That's probably fair enough, being on those tyres. But still managing to get...
Oh, Bray, no!
What's happened?
Bray just got a time penalty.
So...
Bray must have cut the last corner. He was 2 seconds within Sanders' dad. He would have got P6, but now he's got a time penalty.
Let's have a look at the penalties yet. So he's picked up 3, and Sander the dad also has 3. And he's going to have to do it on track now if he wants that 5th place. So what happened in the sprint? Did you just forgot that it was a sprint and you came in for pits?
We noticed the weather had started to dry up a bit. Bray's felt his pace had just disappeared. We were starting to gain him quite quickly. We'd have made the choice, well, if any of us are going to pit for Inters, it's going to be him because he's already starting to fall back. He pitted, so he said he was pulling away from the car behind who I think was Titan and catching up to Pet Pete. I was like, okay, I'll pit in as well. We must be right on the verge of crossover. I pitted and then realised it was lap 9 of 12, and I was like, that was a mistake. I mean, it's just one of those where you didn't really... We kind of forgot it was a sprint race.
Yeah.
You forget how quickly the laps just disappear. But like I said in the chat, I think 2, maybe 3 more laps, and we probably would have been 2nd and 3rd. We were just gaining so much time in all the wet drivers.
Yeah.
And the rain had just stopped. It was just 1 lap too short, and we probably would have regained to where we were. Another lap, we would have just been able to just easily pass people.
Yes.
He is slowly catching on Sanders' dad though.
Yeah, the gap is 1.4 seconds now, so that's good. So it looks like Bray has decided, right, I need to catch up. I need to do this on track. As Richie sets the fastest lap of the race, he's managed to pull that gap just a little bit and started to reel in Smith, but with only 2 laps left of the race, I think it's probably just a little bit too little too late at the moment. But Beastie now is within a second of Lethal Lens, who has 14 seconds of penalty, so he'll be able to get past him anyway. But you always want to try and do the move on track, don't you? You always want to make it stick. You don't want to gain stuff after penalties, do you?
I use it. It's one of those where I hear people going, "Oh, he's got a penalty." You should just no. You shouldn't. You need to pass him. Like he just because he has a time penalty doesn't mean he doesn't have to race you. He needs to move out the way, otherwise it would be boring then, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
think Smith is about to set the fastest lap of the race. Just gonna put it out there. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you did. 17.7.
I saw the gap go back up to 13.5. I was like, oh, let's have a look. And realised he'd used all his ERS. He'd gone from about 50% to about 8. So he's burned a lot of that.
Yeah. So he started the final lap of the race and was not happy that Richie has stolen the fastest lap from him. So Smith wanting every single point available, because you do get a point for fastest lap. Is Richie going to try and get it back? He's set a purple sector 1. So we could have a bit of a time battle between these guys. I'll stick the delta on to see how Richie is doing on his lap. Smith is a 10th down on his fastest time, so he was trying to get a faster lap still, but not quite enough on for him. But as he comes around the final 2 turns and narrowly misses the wall of champions, Smith crosses the line and takes the win of the Canadian Grand Prix. A fantastic weekend and recovery drive for Smith from a bad qualifying performance. Will Richie be able to get fastest lap? No, he just misses out. But he finishes second in Asthma Frog, crosses the line in third. And Saucy Chris.
Quite hard as running out of fuel, by the way.
Oh no, he's run out of fuel. So another one, maybe.
It's a penalty on the last corner. Brake at P5.
Oh, look at that. So Sander the dad gets a late corner cutting penalty. And Lethal Lynn's going to get to further 5 seconds added.
No, that's just the unserved one.
Oh, is it? Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So, 31 laps.
And that's Sander. That last penalty for Sander the dad means that Beastie has managed to get past him as well. So Beastie finishes in 6th. Sander all the way down to 7th. Stone Shuffle finishes 9th. So Lethal Lynn's managed to keep hold of a lot of those places. 14 seconds of penalties. Still finished 8th. So that was good for him. Driver of the day goes to Beastie. In the game.
It's got to be Smith though, surely.
Yes, I think driver of the day has definitely got to go to Smith. After that fantastic recovery, I would say. So there we go. There's a podium celebration. Smith picks up the victory in Canada. And I think that'll be the championship lead. Maths isn't my strongest point.
Yes, it will be.
Yeah. So that should be the championship lead for Smith. Ooh. And we'll get the final classifications up now. So Smith finishes in first. Let's actually get the results of the race. There we go. So Smith finishes first with the fastest lap. Richie finished second, and Asthma Frog rounding out the podium in third. Saucy Chris picks up fourth. Brain Core finishing fifth, gaining a place from Sander the Dad on the last lap. Beastie in sixth, Sander in seventh. Lethal Lynn's finishes in eighth. Stone Shuffle finishes in ninth, and rounding out the top 10 we have Scrub. There we go. That was our race, or our couple of races for this week. There we go. A good race. Not quite as action-packed as I thought it was going to be. But still enjoyable, nonetheless. Yeah. A fantastic recovery drive from Smith after qualifying, and decent outing for Richie as well. Do you think those two guys? Do you think Bonta, those two guys might get moved up? Do you think they're a bit too fast for this league, or do you think it'll kind of stay as it is for now?
It'll stay as it is for now. I know that there was a discussion about other drivers from other leagues happening, including cars that might have been too slow getting moved down. Smith's name was mentioned, but I did squash it and at that point, but I might be like, do you know what, I was wrong. Smith needs to move up.
So it's we'll obviously watch his space, see what happens.
Yeah. Well, now he'll get insane. Obviously, a wet race you can't really judge too much from. Some people are just amazing in the wet, and some people are really bad.
Yes. Yeah, the wet can be the great equalizer or the great amplifier of kind of differences in pace. Yeah. Next round is going to be Imola. Is it? Yeah, it's Imola. Or is it Monza? We've got one Italian Grand Prix.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm not even looking how my race is gone.
I think it's Imola. I've got.
Let me have a quick look.
I can see IM, and then it looks like a C, but I think it's an O that's been cut off.
It is Imola next.
Yes.
It's the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix.
Yes. I'm not quite sure. I might try and get Gunhead to do all the official pronunciations. We all need a good laugh.
On him.
Yeah. Imola, are you looking forward to that race?
No.
No.
I like the race, but you know, I'm not exactly having a lot of luck at the minute.
Well, bad luck only lasts so long. I'm sure that some good luck will swing your way as well.
3 races now, Balfour.
3 races is very much. It's not that much, I'd say. I think if you reached the 5 races and you were still unlucky, I'd be a bit annoyed. But yeah, I think it should be good. If you like the track, it'll be good. It's much easier to race when you like the track that you're racing on.
Yeah.
Right, fantastic. I think we will end the stream there. Thank you for joining me after your crash, Bonta. It's been good to have you calling the race with me. Next week is going to be Imola. Have a look around. Join us at the same time next week for that. I will be fresh off a nap because after that will be the Super Bowl, which I'm staying up for. Are you interested in the American football at all? You're going to be watching that?
I was until the Packers got eliminated, and then there's always next season.
Fair enough. I like the sport. I'm a Dolphins fan, but so I was happy to reach the playoff, but I think there were some opportunities missed. Yeah, and some injuries throughout the season, which hampered us slightly. But yeah, it'll be a good match between the Chiefs and who is it? Eagles. Yeah. Who do you think's gonna win between those two?
Um, Chiefs have got to be favourites, haven't they?
Mm. But
So I'm gonna go
Jalen
Eagles.
Hurts,
I'm gonna go Eagles.
he's had a fantastic season. I think he could be the difference maker. Jalen Hurts, if he has a really good game, I think the Eagles might win. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Right, that's it for the stream this week. Thanks for joining us live. If you're with us live, if you're joining us, if you're watching this after we're live, you're very welcome too. Thank you for watching this far. If you did, leave us a comment, give us a wave, and say hello. And we will be back next week, 9 p.m. UK time, for a race around Imola. So we will see you then. Goodbye.